Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawks. What's so funny? Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. Same as always, lots of stuff going on. But is anybody listening? Anybody care? Well, I did a show just last night. I'm trying to do as many as I can now. I'm going to put a bunch of links up later. But the truth is, the UFO world's exploding every way. More videos coming out weekly. More people coming out with stories. Government putting out more lies. So it's a lot going on. But I'll let my co-host say hello. Hello, Tina.
Hello, Tommy. Hello, everybody. I'm Tina Brad here in the UK, and I'm ET Girl on Facebook, and you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I don't normally go on those accounts. I'm here every week with Tommy on Encounters, and you can find us here every week. And if you have a question or about abduction or UFOs or anything like that, we're your people. We just try to bring you up-to-date news from around the world, or we like to have guests on the show, or just the public can ask us questions, or we could interview anyone that'd like to come on the show. And if you have a question or an answer from a previous show, we'd certainly love to hear from you again. You can find us on the show every week. You can message me or Tommy or email Tommy, who put the email address up in a minute. And this week we're going to be talking about skipping the lies and about the UFOs. And if you have any questions, we had a few questions. People said that they might come back this week about, we talked about my abduction account last week, and Tommy was talking about his, and the differences and things, how we feel that, what's not being addressed in the UFO world. But over to Tommy for now.
Well, what I want to get into first, I go online half of the day and half of the night. I listen to all the UFO speakers out there. I listen to their workshops. I listen to their roundtables, the ones that you don't have to pay to get into. And so much talk. I listened to somebody, I'm not going to say who it was, but they're going on and on about about the government. All right. And they say the good aliens, and they talk that way. And I have to remind these people, there's two things going on in the UFO world. One is what the government's doing with aliens, and two, what the aliens are doing. What the aliens are doing with the people is much more important because it affects each and every one of us. What they do with the government really doesn't affect us. Now, if they can't protect us, which Tina will straight out and say, we don't get protected by them, what can they do for us? Nothing. So, but they're not talking about that. All these UFO people rather say, well, the government's working with UFOs. Okay, why? What are they doing? And nobody wants to get into that. And it's sad because that's the only thing that matters. Why do they want to work with them? Because technology for what? War. It's a war thing. It's always been with the government, when the government allowed them to abduct people.
If you have a war, the only casualties are normally civilians or soldiers. If they're coming here to abduct human beings for tissue, to make children, to make a different race, to blend us with them, then what is the point of coming in and having a peace treaty to abduct people and hurt people and take things forcibly without consent? Or what's the point in having wars? You're going to kill the people that you want to protect and take DNA from. Doesn't make sense to me.
You know, I found out by people that I know, talking to people in Vietnam and everything, they were dealing with aliens in Vietnam. There was a war going on that as well. And you don't hear anything about that. You don't hear about the more basic things that affect us. You hear about, oh, there's UFOs in the sky and the government's working with them. And they got all these projects. But where do we hear about what are they really doing? Now, I'm trying to talk to Luis Elizondo, but he didn't get back to me. But he's afraid to talk about certain things, or he's limited. I don't know what the story is. That's why I want to talk to him. And people say, well, he doesn't say much. And I said, yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't talk about any really important things going on with aliens. Nobody does, except the people that call themselves experiences, which I hate the word. Oh, they're good people. They take us everywhere. They show us everything. They do everything for us. Really? Like what? I've been waiting to hear or see something really important come out of any of the stories we hear. And now, if you go to a UFO conference, you can hear about maybe 30 people talking about their experiences and everything else. But I'm on top of Carol Corey. she's claiming all these things and claiming about Superman now, and she's really bragging about superpowers. And I said, superpowers aren't going to save us. They're not going to make us better. And she claims she can change people's DNA. And all these little things that these people come out and say. Now, Rev. Melchizedek, if anybody remembers the name, he was out there mainstream for a while. He's still out there, claiming he's working with the crystal people inside the earth. He said he was going to bring them out maybe 4 or 5 years ago already, and then nothing happened. He says he took 100 people inside the earth to meet them and let them see the aliens and everything else. Where's the proof? Where's the evidence? What are you really doing? If you're telling us you're going to do something, why don't you do it? All we hear, even with the Galactic Confederation people, they tell us over and over, well, the ships are going to come down in July 21st or July 10th or next year on a such and date, and nothing ever happens. And then there's stupid excuses. Oh, it happened at a different level. Well, then it didn't happen, did it? I mean, unless it happens in the physical world, it's not part of the physical reality. So when these people go on about traveling, going to these other worlds, is any of that information useful for us? Of course not. Now, everybody wants to get on a trip to go into space. I don't know why anybody would waste money to do that. I mean, you're talking about lots of money. It's going to be all the millionaires and rich people first, right? So,
actually, I think you find there's been a lot of abductees beaten to it. It cost them nothing to do it.
Well, you would say, look, I'll take an abduction to go on a space trip.
Oh, no, don't ever say that. You wouldn't, believe me.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying these people, they want it. Most people say, oh, I'd like to get abducted.
Anybody who says that needs a psychiatric evaluation. They need a wake-up call, and they need to go to one of these camps where they can physically torture you. And if you can stand being physically tortured, having your stomach cut open, people operating on you where you're awake, and horrifying things like that, then
all right. Here's the thing. In Washington State, there's a club called Sex Positive. All right. In there, every sexual act goes on publicly in there. All right. Every kind of abuse, shocking.
I don't know. That's not my scene. No, thank you.
But what I'm saying is, they're the kind of people that might like to get abducted on a ship. Oh, wow, I have an alien doing it to me instead of 2 guys or 3 guys or 3 women.
They take parts out of you. It doesn't, from what I've seen and experienced, it does not happen like that. Believe you me.
Oh no, it's not a positive thing, people. And I wish we could get more people to listen. I trying to do the best I can, trying to get more people to send the links to everybody they can. We don't talk about lies here. We talk about what's really going on. She talks about her experience, my experiences. We had them. They're real. We were with aliens and stuff. Not like, oh, Joe Schmo is with an alien. Who cares? Unless he wants to come.
These people say they're working with aliens. Exactly what work have they been doing or have been doing, and what are these results for years? Because I want to see it. I want to see scientific results of what you. So you're working with, what have you built a bridge? What?
It's sad because we have some truth coming out. And like Travis Walton, now they're trying to say it, including his people around him, saying it was fake and all that. But here's the thing. When the truth comes out, the government's on top of it. Now, if there's a real alien somewhere, you don't think they're watching or coming out, checking on it? They might not admit it. I'm sure they won't. Oh, we went to check it out. But like this other thing, they just came out and said it was fake. Really? How can they say it's fake? They didn't even go out there to check it out in the first place. That alien, I was watching that on the History Channel last night. In Europe or some country, they had an alien frozen in snow. And then the next day, the government came out and says, no, that was faked. How do they know? How do they know about it? I mean, it's like, how about you go out there and check it, get the skin and check the body and all that, then turn around, and you wouldn't tell us anyway. If it was real alien, you would say, oh, no, it was a rubber dummy stuff with some kind of fluid or whatever. You wouldn't turn around.
So this gets me. So this is another thing I wanted to bring up, because I like you, Tommy. You will understand this. You'll get this. So back in, so the day of Roswell, this is
46 27,
So just
28.
just suppose the day of Roswell was the 1950s. So in the 1950s, just supposing this pink thing represents a weather balloon. Okay. So if you are a highly trained, skilled pilot, or a member of NASA, or a member from the government who dealt in avionics, you can identify that as a weather balloon. Okay. Now, since when does weather balloons packed with explosives that explode across farm fields for miles? When do they leave big deep gashes in the ground? When do they leave radiation in the ground? And so it's plastic material. It's like silicone material, so they wouldn't be finding thick metal material in a field.
And the metal was engraved. They have all kind of weird engravings on that metal that they found and everything. Oh, the one thing they did do yesterday, all the witnesses of Roswell that are alive, they have new technology from the government, supposedly, that's like a lie detector, and they put the information into it. It analyzes the pulse of a person, the eye movement, all the different parts of the body, and it determines if the person's telling the truth. All right. They came up with everybody that talked about Roswell was telling the truth. So then now they're claiming all that's actual proof saying and proving that it happened. So, I mean, the people that are
So
alive.
let me get this straight. If I was walking down the road, say in America, and I mean you're you to me, and the National Bank got robbed, or Dunkin' Donuts, whatever it is across the road, got robbed, and you stand up in court and say, Judge, I don't have a videotape. I've given a physical description. I've given a drawing. There it is. That woman looks very similar. If not, that's her. I saw her coming out of that bank on that street at that time. Now, you took a lie detector test and you didn't have a picture and just your say so, I would be convicted. Because then I would be in my room, fast asleep on my own. Now, because I don't have a drawing to say that I'm in my room asleep, and I can't prove I was in my room asleep alone, I'm then guilty. Now, if that's good enough for a court of law, an abductee would say, I'm taken from my room by this drawn alien, this being. He's done all this to me, tortured me, and put me back. Now, I know he's done this. I've got a drawing. I saw this being there doing this to me. In a court of law, that's evidence. And if I passed a lie detector test, that is evidence in a court of law. So just because 12 people aren't sat in my bedroom with me, watching me day and night, doesn't mean that anyone is not telling the truth. And that is a statement, a written statement, a drawing is evidence. So when someone writes a statement and does a drawing and say, yes, this categorically happens, and they take a lie detector test and they pass, how can they still be questioned? And if it's good enough to send someone to prison or the electric chair, or someone to take their life for 25 years in prison on someone say so, then what's the difference between an alien abduction account and statement and someone who's robbed a bank?
Well, in the United States, a lie detector's evidence isn't submitted as evidence in a court of law. It's done to show the character of a person, but they can't submit it as actual evidence because many people can beat a lie detector. But this new technology that they claim they have analyzes the person's body and pulse and everything a lot more in detail, eye scans and everything else.
I like to do that.
It could detect beyond like a shadow of a doubt whether a person's lying or not. That's what they're saying. And all the UFO people that were involved with Roswell that got what was put on this machine all came out positively telling 100% the truth. So now that's what they're using as 100% evidence that it really happened. But this was just on TV last night. I was
so you've got now, just say 10 people. So instead of one witness, you've got 10. They've all given statements, all given drawings, same date, same time. That is group evidence. So if those 10 people at Roswell said, I was there robbing Dunkin' Donuts or the bank or whatever it is, then that evidence is good enough to send me to prison, is it not?
Hopefully it is.
Right. So why, when 10 abductees who live in different countries describe the same creature, the same scenarios, the same things happening, who have no contact with each other, speak different languages, give the same 10 statements, why isn't our government taking that as evidence and acting upon it?
You know, the UFO world is like a separate entity to the government, to the world. They will not let it
Why?
merge.
Why? Hold up. So this is, I get so angry about this. Why? So I'm a member of the British public that's been abducted. Okay. So I've been taken and tortured. If Britain declared a state of war, say against France, and I went to France or someone came from France and did that to me, they'd be held accountable on war crimes. Now, just because these people don't come from this planet, they're still coming here and carrying our airspace, which is an act of war, because if Russia came into our waters or airspace, that's an act of war. So people not from England or beings not from England crossed into our country, into our airspace, into our water space, take and abuse and torture human beings, that is an act of war. That is also crimes against humanity. Why is this not being addressed?
Well, let's stick with that topic for a little while. In the United States, the government released their stupid files a couple weeks ago. And now they're saying, well, it's probably Russian ships, Chinese ships, German ships. Okay, they're saying that. That means that ships going over the United States are doing illegal things which are against our policy, which means we could declare war on them, and we're not. Why not? If they know it's something like a Russian ship and we're not attacking it, there's no fly zones. Many places, like even over Australia. In Hawaii, we got a no-fly zone over the Army base, and the ships are flying over it. So why aren't they having a declaring war on something? Because
Well,
something.
so on the release of this, on the back of this documentation thing, I'm not sure who did the survey, but someone who worked in the police or justice department. So it's a form of FBI. I'm not quite sure. It's a different system to how the British system works. Released their annual yearly statements to say, like, I don't know, 53 million people had minor injuries. Did you know over 1 million, just 1 million Americans of different ages, different ethnicities from different parts of the country, just in America, that's about Canada, Alaska, all those parts, just from Middle America, went missing and have never been found in abduction scenarios. They went missing from their beds in the home. Over 1 million last year, never been found, never a trace of where they went. That's about people that have been murdered, killed, kidnapped, and no suspicion of death or wrongful doing. 1 million.
Well, the numbers in the parks, they don't have to release the numbers.
Yeah, the parks, I know that because I watched the program on that and I read the book. Is it David Pilatus or something like that, isn't it?
But they don't have to release. But they don't have to release those numbers.
Now, these are just people missing from the home that never been seen again. They went to bed or put their kids to bed or put their mum and dad to bed or whatever, never been seen again. Over 1 million. What does that tell you? Hold on. You just had 1 million people from your country disappear and nobody's looking at that.
Well, it's the homeless people. Well, we don't know how many homeless people disappear on a daily basis as well. But they're not going to tell us, and they don't care. Now, again, and this is actual facts, whether you want to hear it or not, people, in 1950, Mr. Truman made a deal with alien races. Well, basically, there's two different gray races that they made a deal with. And they said to them, you could abduct 10,000 people a year. All right. Now, 10,000 is a number they use for everything. The whaling industry, the dolphin industry, you're allowed to kill 10,000 dolphins a year. You're allowed to kill 10,000 whales a year. I don't know where they come up with that number. You know why? Because you can't count 10,000. No fishing boat will ever count 10,000 whales. No dolphin boat going out killing dolphins are going to count 10,000 dolphins. Nobody counts those numbers, and there's no way to check on those numbers. So they make it so high that, you can count 5, 10, but when it goes to 1,000 and 1,000 and 1,000, there's no way. Nobody's going to be on a ship day and night counting the whales that are being killed, the dolphins that are being killed, the same as people. Nobody can count 10,000 people missing. There's no way. Because half of these people, like you said, they're homeless or They're in the bed and they just chalk it off as
At the
missing.
moment, in the earth, there's no human value to being human. If animals and cattle are being destroyed or cattle mutilation, there is an animal value placed on that by the farmer, by insurances, by the police, by the state police, like caribou, cows, beef, farm animals, sheep, goats. Okay, there's laws about killing them, laws about keeping them, laws about selling them, buying them. There is a value. There's no value in human life. You're telling me and that's just in America. I hate to think how many people worldwide in countries that don't have these surveys or investigating.
What
How many
about
people
India?
worldwide are going, are missing, not dying of COVID, physically missing under abduction circumstances, never to be found ever again. 1 million just in 1 year.
See, in the UFO world, they talk about abduction. They don't like that word, so they use experiences. But how many people?
But then they're changing the parameters about what happened to you. So, okay, Tommy, have a gold medal. You've run the 500-yard race. I don't like that word race, and I don't like that word 500. You've run a furlong, and so Tommy, here's your winner of a furlong. In 10 years' time, people, I don't know what the hell a furlong. Do you know what a furlong is? That's something they run in the Grand Nationals, like equivalent to a mile or something like that. I don't know, half a mile, quarter of a mile. But you're changing the parameters. So abduction is, the actual term of abduction is you're being taken out of your environment against your will, against your consent by people you do not wish to go with or things you do not wish to go with. Okay, that is abduction. That is abduction. So if you're an experiencer, you can have an experience drinking a cup of tea. You can have an experience walking to the shop. Why is an experience similar to abduction? It's not in my book. Two completely different things. Experience is buying candy floss from a fair.
It's sad because right now, all these conferences going off about one every month somewhere in the United States, or sometimes two in a month. I mean, now they're doing some online as well and charging. I mean, I went to two on free on one, but I got booted off the one. I told you that. But the problem is they talk always like it's like entertainment rather than the truth.
Yeah.
They want to make people feel good about it. There's nothing good about aliens and what they're doing to the human race. And
See,
when
it's unbelievable. You're right. So go on.
When they come out with something good and positive and release it to the world, then we'll see. Then we could talk about good aliens. But that has never happened in our history. So for them to keep pushing it and saying it, I mean, how brainwashed can these people be? Pretty much brainwashed. And good, Tina.
My point is, you hit the nail on the head. So it's about experience and seeing things. So have you ever seen a blue whale up close in person? How do you know it's blue? How do you know it's a whale? And when did you last see one? The point being is 90% or 95% of the world's population are probably, I've seen a blue whale's bones in a natural history museum. So no one's physically, 95% of the whole world population, I should imagine, has never physically seen one. We only know they exist in fairy tales, stories like Moby Dick, other stories like that, and from what the science community has told us, and maybe bones they've presented. But you don't know where the bones from. You haven't seen them dig them up. They haven't seen them wash up, and no one's ever seen one in the wild. So how do you know they exist? Now, when someone tells you they've been abducted by different species that may be more intelligent than you, it's like if we spoke orangutans and said, hold on, there's a silver-ass ape over there. No one's ever seen a silver-ass ape. That silver-ass ape abducted me. You're going to be crazy unless you talk whale or you talk orangutan. The problem is these things exist. They're going on. They're part of the human evolution, or they're in our human chain somewhere along the line, or in our DNA, or they're after our DNA, whatever. Just because you haven't seen one doesn't mean to say that they're a fairy tale, it's fantasy, and they're not real.
Well, these people, like you have your direct experience. I have direct experience. They're the people with direct experience. Sure, some of them twist it. I mean, they have a small experience and they make it into a super big one. I mean, just seeing a UFO doesn't mean much to the UFO world right now. because anybody could go outside and see a UFO.
Because they're becoming more frequent.
Because they're everywhere right now, and people should realize that too. That must mean something different. I mean, I used to watch the sky when I was young, and I never saw a UFO. I mean, at certain time frames.
Sorry, my dog's just bit my sofa. They're going crazy here. Stop
My
it!
dog's going crazy too.
Stop it! Enough. Sorry, I do apologise. She just bit my sofa. She just ran in here schizo. Sorry, my partner's had to take him out. Sorry.
Oh, all right. My dog is going crazy. Somebody's coming. So here's the thing. When we have these people, they come out and they say, okay, I've been abducted. That's a solid thing rather than saying I saw a UFO. So seeing a UFO doesn't prove to you as well what they are, who they are, and what they're going to do. But when you get pulled on a ship like Tina, or you're next to one, you suddenly realize what they look like for real, what the aliens look like, not just the ship. How many people can describe an alien or ever was close to an alien out of all the people that see UFOs? And then, sure, we got the problem between government ships and UFOs. But what I was saying, if Russian ships are flying over the United States everywhere, there's a serious problem there.
So, that not only are they starting an act of war, then is it them? We make a counterclaim against them. Well, you abducted our citizens. If you're coming into our waters, you're therefore guilty of crimes against citizens of the UK or America. I mean, that's spurious claims you're just making up because they've come into our territory. I haven't seen a Russian in my bedroom. If he is, he's about 2 foot tall, milky white, glows in the dark, and has got a nasty habit of taking me against my will.
Well, I was gifted. Most of my friends were involved in great ways with the top people in the government, MJ-12 and things like that. Now, these people that come out with their stories, they don't go public. Now, my good friend Sean David Martin's in jail, and they're going to kill him. He discovered Area 51. He took people to see the ship land there. It used to land every 2 weeks right next to the base, and they'd bring those aliens inside the base and everything, and they were watching them. So once the government found out, they had to buy that land, make sure nobody ever went near that land again. But my other friend, John Ford, who's in the Nut House on Long Island, he was out there. He was head of MUFON in Long Island, and a ship crashed there. He went out to there. He took his Geiger counter, all right, measured it, and took a video of the ship crashed on the ground. Well, he was arrested. They said he had uranium. He had a little piece of uranium that he checked the Geiger counter with, and they put him in jail. I mean, then they said, well, we can't put him into trial because we get to see the video, so we're going to put him in the nut house so he can't do anything. So he's been in the nut house since 96. I've been trying to get in touch with Lewis and a couple of people saying, look, this is the people you should worry about. They got actual proof that will shine above every other speck of proof that we have right now. I saw the video. It's crystal clear. It wasn't like a black, dark, animated. It was a real ship crashed on the ground, smashed, and things laying around it and the whole thing. So people need to see that. It will blow the UFO world away because they're not going to be able to say, oh, it's a Russian ship. Really? And we shot it down and Russia didn't get mad? I mean, and we're showing it or we didn't show it, whatever. So all these lies could be opened wide open if they just get this one person out of jail. And believe it or not, nobody in the UFO world will go near him. I was threatened by FEMA. They said if I go near him, they'll kill my family. So I wasn't able to go to the nut house where he is and meet with him. All right. So other people in the UFO world, they don't want to go near anybody because all my other friends in the UFO world were killed or went missing. I have 12 people total. 2 in jail, 1 in nut house. The rest went missing. All right. I have a friend. His name was Bob Sylvester. He had a family. The whole family disappeared the week after I showed him UFOs. The government said he can't get involved with UFOs. And he went to see UFOs at my friend's house with me. And his whole family disappeared. All right. I had a friend in Hawaii. He was a top, bright genius kid. He was working in a computer store. And I was talking to him. There was a UFO conference there that I was going to, and I had to have him fix my computer. And he goes, what are you here for, the UFO conference? And he started talking to me. And I said, well, do you know anything about the HAARP system? He goes, yeah, my father works inside it. I said, really? He said, I can get you an actual video. He disappeared a week later. I couldn't find any evidence of him. The store wouldn't give me any information about him. So, when the truth's there, people disappear, people die. If it's not, like I said, if they talk too long, the government doesn't care. I mean, they're not telling much truth. Now, they don't care about abduction. That's why you're speaking. I'm not talking about certain things either. That's why I'm speaking. But if I went into like freaking Michael Salla on here in Hawaii, who's really famous, talking about all the government programs and what the government's doing, even though he has no clue, I know much more what they're doing here than he does. And he's writing book after book about secret programs and more. He blocked me. He blocked me a month ago, and then 2 days ago I got blocked on Link now. So little by little bit closing in on me, but I don't care. I'll do what I can until I have to. We can change the topic, title if we have to, but like I said, we're not attacking the government. I'm attacking people. People being so ignorant. I mean, they're not fighting for their own truth. As a group of people, we should be demanding the truth. Oh, well, 10 people demand it. I mean, we have Stephen Greer going out, getting a couple of people to say,
There's
okay.
Millions of people in this field have been abducted and seen UFOs. Now, you're telling me the government can't freely come out and stand by its citizens who, I mean, worldwide, I mean, there's got to be hundreds of millions of people have said this. So it's not, it's not people, these are genuine people that have come forward, rattle out everything else. This thing is going on. It's a serious issue and it is not being addressed.
What's sad, when it all started with Barney Hill, all right, here's a black and white couple in a time frame when it wasn't accepted, coming out and saying they were abducted. So they were already hit in the head because they were black and white, married. And now they're going to come out and say they were abducted by aliens. So what's that do to people? They're like crazy, ignorant, stupid, dumb, and they'll
yeah, it's terribly stressful for them.
They had a really hard life. They did,
yeah.
But they stood by it. And that, like I said, the show last night said that they were real. What they saw, what they had, was all real. But I mean, from the piece of the ship and all the other things as well. But okay, if it's real, what do we do now? Do we take another step forward or not? Or do we step backwards? Let's just talk about UFOs in space. No, let's talk about what they're doing. The invasion of our space.
So this is it. Not only are they invading it, but what are they doing here so often? It's becoming more frequent. Are they taking minerals from the planet? Are they taking, apart from human beings and killing animals, and are they bringing like crop circles? From what I've seen and I've worked out, and from what I understand, I think personally these are ionizing frequency waves, crop circles, like gamma rays and on a spectrum. Now, if that is true, and the sound they make, or the frequency, different frequencies form different sounds. So if these things form sound waves that go through the ground, or magnetic waves that go through the ground, surely that's the result of the crop circle. If that's the case, then extraterrestrials are contacting us, and what they're saying is on that frequency. So all we need to do is give them an answer or get on that frequency.
Many years ago, I met a lady. She actually was putting out the crop circle calendars. She was inside a crop circle. That's all she does. She travels the world. She gets free flights. She takes the cheapest flight to go somewhere. She was inside a crop circle when it was made. All right. Now, what race is doing that? Is it the same race as any other race? Probably not. And here's the way, but let me just say this. I'll probably describe it this way. There's certain races that I won't say good, but they're not attacking us or eating us, that are trying to communicate with us. All right. And the only way they can is that way. But they can't override the Greys, the Reptilians, the Draconians, or any of those races. So they're giving us messages. Hopefully, we can translate them, which isn't happening rarely. But this lady said she could. And Sergeant 18, who I used to work with, was translating them with her and explaining what they're trying to say and everything. But again, are they going to say anything important? And if it's important,
I don't think that it is a language and they're talking to it, but I think it's just like interstellar cartography. It's like wormholes opening up and you plot a course. If you're doing that with ionized and radio waves or frequencies, it's cutting through our time-space fabric, cutting through our atmosphere physically into the ground. If they're sending that here through another portal and we can't trace that back, what damage each time they're punching into our Earth, that atmosphere and ground? What lasting damage is that building up in our atmosphere?
But here's the thing. Many people, not many, but there's people, one person I met directly that saw the crop circle being made. All right. And the science has their ideas of how it could be made. Like you said, send an energy vibration and it creates the vibration. But they are symbols. A lot of them are direct symbols that relate to science.
No, from sound waves. I mean, from the distance they travel, you're talking 10 to the power of 3. So that's longer than the football pitch. And a lot of them are a lot further away from each other. That's just, you could go to the other end, but that's more infrared, if I remember.
Plus the fact that they're putting radiation on a planet again.
That's what I'm saying. What damage are they causing?
That's something. See, they might not know that race particularly, but I know the reptilians need the planet radioactive. So do the Greys, and they are making that. The government knows the planet's going to be super radioactive. That's why they're cloning Greys right now, because they're going to. This is what's going to happen, people. Whether you want to hear the truth or not, they're building underground cities for the people, the rich people, to go hide in, while the wars and the effect of radiation attack the top of the planet. Now, to clean the planet up, they're going to use Greys, programmed cloned Greys. They're super pervious to radioactive materials, and they'll be able to fix and do things what they want them to do until the radiation's gone. All right. So there's reasons behind everything, and I say, people, you need to check every fact that you can and put it together, because it all equals a sentence and then an answer. All right, there is a reason why Greys are here. There is a reason why reptilians are here. There is a reason why the mantis control them. There's reasons behind it all. But there's a reason why the government's not telling people. They can't tell the people right now that they can't protect us, which they can. I mean, they don't want the people to freak out. We got to get a new government. But getting a new government's not going to make anybody protect us any better until they tell us what's going on. And all these so-called people that are working with the aliens come out and say, okay, they said we'll have an agreement to be peaceful if we do this or blah. And that doesn't happen either. Why not? So it's story after story and lie after lie. People, do you want the truth? Do you want to help get to it? Well, I do hypnosis. This one lady was asking me to hypnotize her yesterday, but she's leaving the island. So I said, I don't want to get too involved because it takes a couple of days to get where you want to go. But we need to work together. I mean, the government needs to work with these people that have been abducted and willing to communicate and not abuse them and then put them in the nut house because they say, okay, they got too much information. They need to work for real. I mean, Russia admitted it. For Putin to come out and actually admit that they're working with alien races and 2 of them want to destroy the planet. The statement when Putin said 2 races want to destroy the planet must mean, and you have to realize that there's a war going on between the 2. Otherwise, he wouldn't say attacking would want to destroy the planet. How would he know that? It's like saying, well, he wants to kill me. How would you know that unless he tried? So there is a war going on, and I know the United States had 3 major wars in space already. Well, I know we were partially working with some people from Russia and Germany, the same as they were working with partial people from the United States. All right. So the interim is we need to work together. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. And whether these alien races want to make any kind of really flea bargains, which they probably don't. And until that happens, we're screwed. So, you know, until
people... Did you hear someone talking? Is that your end?
That was my partner, yeah. She said all the blood and guts. Well, people love that. And people love war. People love fighting. People love to see people get maimed and hurt and all that. I don't know why, but it's been here for a very long time, and you'd think it would stop, but it doesn't. Killing animals should stop. We don't need it now.
I'm actually so angry. Don't even go there.
I mean, so angry. They killed a Bigfoot recently. So we will hear their results of what a Bigfoot really is real soon. All right, they already said
Tell me,
it's.
tell me how far all this. So how far have we actually got? So the government said that they were going to release these files. They released it, and I said it was going to go nowhere. But what actually is coverable? What's the upshot now? A few weeks after they've been released, what papers are they?
Here's what's
Tell me.
happening. All right, last week alone, I saw 4 UFO specials together within 2 hours on different channels. One of them is showing Navy videos of UFOs that were never released. All these things are coming out now because, okay, they're going to show them, but they're going to still say we can't prove they're aliens. That's why I'm saying if they go to Long Island, get John Ford out of jail and get his video and release it to the world, we will see what we're not supposed to see. The fact, the truth.
So what else did it say? This report and what's been going on?
So
I want to know.
it said absolutely nothing. 19 pages of, well, it could be and it might be. And they said secret government, secret militias are making UFOs.
I mean, to be truthful, they said that they don't have enough time to prepare a proper report in the time given. Well, if you have weekly meetings, monthly meetings, you've got a whole task force and a whole military at your disposal on a computer where you can push a button like that. Then, if you can't form a report in that, I don't know. But
well, the secret form documents went to Congress. So Congress, like I said, you got all these old people, I call them old farts, reading documents about UFOs. What are they going to do? Oh, UFOs real? Now what are they going to do? They're going to come out and vote against UFOs? What are they going to say something? No, they're not. The problem with that, like I said, these people get the information, people that don't need it. The public needs the truth. And then we can decide as a group consciousness what we're going to do, if anything. But we got to stick together. I mean, the person that gets abducted, like you've mentioned already, Tina, you should get welfare, disability, something.
I believe that anyone who's been abducted should get free medical care, no matter where you are, who you are, what part of the world you're in. If they can find all this money for black projects across the world and interspace parts from different world and poorer countries, then they can at least pay minimum for health care for these people and people like me.
I agree.
In every country should get it for free. Yeah, and they're not.
I mean, and these people are pretty messed up. I'm not saying you are, but a lot of them are. They can't go. I have a friend that dealt with 120 doctors and scientists, and half of them have no clue what they're going to do with their life. Most of them don't understand what it was or what it is.
Some of them too frightened to speak up.
They won't. They can't. They don't want to lose their job. A doctor can't come out and say they were abducted by aliens, and they won't. Like a psychiatrist won't admit to that either. Now, the truth is, there is a truth that we need to look at rather than the stories that everybody's telling. So, Tina, the only thing I could say, you're doing what you can do. I'm doing what I can do. And hopefully we can get a few more people to get involved with doing what they can do. But, just having people talk. But when you talk about one side of a thing, you have to bring it all out. You can't just say the good aliens. Because that's wrong. There's more bad aliens than good aliens here.
So what proof? If these people are going, just supposing, and they are in contact with these beautiful, experienced people, okay? So how do they know they're going willingly? For one, for all they know, they experience all these horrific ordeals, and it's just an image they put in their head. Two, how do they know they're really communicating? Do they physically, mentally speak to these people? What have they showed them and what have they told them? It's like all love, light, and power. What information there is? Because there is an exchange of information when this happens. What information they're exchanging? That's what I'd be interested in.
Well, when Corey Good came out, and he said they show him videos, the Blu-rays that he works with.
They do show you something on a wall, yeah. I don't think it's videos. I think it's their timeline.
But how do you know it's not just a video? All right.
Because this is going to sound freaky. They put you, I'll concentrate on this top one, on the top left-hand corner. And it looked for a minute, it looked like cartoon strips. And as you got closer, you could see it was like loads of these, looked like screens. I'm not sure what it was. But for some reason, I focused on the top one, and it kind of drew me in. Or zoomed into me, or it drew me in. and then they put you in a bubble and put you inside that memory. So whether that's they put you in, whether that's time travel, whether that's going through a wormhole, they put you in there, and you get to experience it firsthand. Whether that's their memory or they got a way of manipulating time, I don't know.
Well,
But
here's
it
the
does
thing.
happen.
That's true at one level. But how do you know they're not creating that memory that they're going to put you in? Why I say 90%, 99% of these experiences come back with a good experience. Oh, they saw this and they saw that. That doesn't sound real to me. All right. If they got something good, John Lennon is the only person I know on this planet that was given an artifact from an alien. The only person I know.
The only thing they showed me is how the artists we're all going to die. It was terrible. What the imagery they showed is like this grey. It's awful.
A guy from Australia, what's his name? He claimed that we were going to die within 2 years. The world was going to be destroyed. He disappeared for a while because he stopped speaking because he said that.
Now, if you look back on our videos and our conversations and our interviews, I did say in 2018, sorry, and I gave I think a lectural talk with David Hodrin at Hampshire UFO group, and I even think one of the other ones up north, and I said that something would be happening in 2019 and it would go to 2024. So there you go. Right, so this is a Geiger counter, guys. I have one. Tommy has exactly the same one. Bought it on Amazon. That's what it is. The number's there, and that's what it says on the back. So I've been having these symptoms, and I've been bad for a while. Tommy said, get a Geiger counter and check out, make sure you're not radioactive. You can see now Tommy's holding his close to the screen. At the top is volts per meter. So that's electrical magnetic field. And at the bottom one there you go, is microtesters. That's the symbol for microtesters. The bottom one is radiation, and the top one is volts per meter electrical magnetic field. Now, when I turn Tommy's just flashing because he has a standard computer screen, so which is giving off electrical magnetic volts in a field. So when he holds his Geiger counter to it, it's picking it up. And when you see that little red light flashing, it means it's in a high quantity or a high dose. So when Tommy holds it to the screen, his goes off. Now, when I'm going to hold mine now, I'm going to turn mine on, hold it to the screen. I have a smart TV, a smart screen. So it doesn't give off radiation, and it doesn't give off electrical magnetic fields. So the top one there, volts per meter, and the bottom one there's a symbol for microtesters. Okay. Now I'll hold it. So Tommy's just going to take the rest of his house. So normally what I do is just hold it towards me and we check it out to see if it goes up or down. And there you go. So Tommy, did you see that? I'm beeping already.
I hear it.
So I'm 0.63, I think was the highest then. And all I've been at is at work every day. I haven't been anywhere special.
Tina.
Yeah.
I got my invention I made over here. And it flashed for radiation for 2 seconds.
Where'd you get it from?
I made it. But it's blinking on and off with radiation. And I got a coil which is actually not plugged in, but it's blinking radiation.
So mine is that I'll put it on my skin and on my neck, and you can see there going up, and then in the middle.
Wow.
Well, Tommy's frozen there for a second.
So
in the middle, it normally says nothing, and it's reading 1 to 4. Now I'm going to go down the other side, and it normally says nothing. Now, earlier I turned it on with Tommy. We were having a laugh, and mine started beeping like mad on the electrical magnetic field. So here is the radiation in my hair, down my neck. Now I'm going to try and see if I can. Radiation strips are very.
What kind of stuff do you use on your hair? I better not buy it.
Shampoo, but it's not that. On this side, there's nothing. Oh look, this side's nothing, and then this side. Where is it? There.
Well, people, I'm going to show you my invention. It weighs a lot. It's about 20 pounds.
There you go.
Right. I got to pull it up. All right.
It looks heavy.
It's got everything known to man inside it, meteorites and you name it. Every kind of claw, feather, needle, teeth, hair from every kind of creature, entity, you name it. It's got ash from 100 sacred fires. It's got, you name, blood from a lot of different things as well. But it's the most powerful thing that I ever put near anybody. If they go near it, they can feel it. I actually ran a coil through it, and I could put voltage through it. But what I was just saying, I went over there with the Geiger counter, and it blinked on and off about 3 times, which I never tried to find out if it was.
Yeah, I should check your home. I urge anybody. I went to a crop circle last year. So this is my little drawings of so far this year. Guys, this is ones in the UK. My home is actually down here. Literally at the end of this line. I've got dates that I've been having a look at. So on the 10th of May, actually same place every year. There you go. It's got a big white chalk horse. The second one is down here, B. Third one, C. D, then down in a straight line this way, and then back up at a vector there. But they're all, my house is actually here on that line there. There you go, my house is there.
Well, this is my Tesla coil, but I won't plug it in because this shuts my internet down and does a lot of different things to my house.
Is it an EMP field you've made, a mini EMP field? Because I tell you what, I'm making something to go around my bed.
Well, the top's on, but the bottom, the radiation isn't there. But like I said, when I was over there and I went near my little device, the radiation started blinking. But this is so powerful.
Where'd you get that from?
I got it online. I paid enough money for it, but it's incredible because when I plug it in, it shoots energy through the air.
What is that, copper coil?
It's a double coil, but it's got a whole bunch of equipment and transistors, capacitors in the bottom and everything else. But what it does, the 2 separate coils, one produces the field and the other one projects it up. So this shoots the energy out, and I could put a little thing on there and it starts spinning it and all kinds of things. But if I go near it with the lights light up. That's what Tesla was trying to make free energy with.
Okay.
But it's pretty cool. But like I said, I can't put it on when my TV's on.
All right, guys. Well, while Tommy's doing that, I'm just going to give a quick plug to a couple of books, actually. This week, I'm not going to start my book. A friend of mine, who me and Tommy both interviewed on the show, there's a picture of the gentleman there. He's called Russ Kellett, and there's his book. He's just released it, actually. It's called Russ Kellett is an ET rider and original super soldier. So if you read Russ's book, it tells you many things. It's a very interesting read, and you can buy it on Amazon for him. So I'll just give Russ and my mate a quick plug there. Now, guys, mine's a bit more like a book. So mine isn't a true life story. It's a made-up story by me called The Guardians of Light and the Brother of Night. Very thick book. You can buy this on, there's the IBSN number. You can buy this on Amazon. You can buy it on Kindle. I'm not sure it's on Kindle Unlimited, but you can get it on download and also on paperback. That's The Guardians of Light and the Brother of the Night. And another one I did was a short story, especially for men or women. It's called The Checkpoint by T.A. Barrett. It's a little romance. There's a picture of me on the back with an IBSN number there. And that is available. You can actually get this for free, guys. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for free. You can get it on download from Amazon. You can get it in paperback and Amazon, Kindle Unlimited and paperback. Hopefully I might get it out in audio, you never know. But at the moment, I'm writing part 2 to The Checkpoint, which will be called The Two-Edged Sword, and I've nearly done that. And I'm just working on my book, my alien abduction story. So my account will be out hopefully by the end of the year, if not early next year. So that's the one. I did actually have a talk with Russ, and I encouraged Russ to write the book. And we supposed to start at the same time. I said to Russ, if you write one, it'd give me the courage to go forward and write a book. Russ has actually done it, so I'm lagging behind, but I do work every day, and I've got a lot of other things going on in my life. So it's been on the back burner for a while, but well done to Russ. And there's his book. Don't need to buy mine. You can speak to Russ. I think he has his own blog as well, so check that out, guys. Russ Kellett, ET Rider. And there's many other good books that I do read, but I like to promote abductees, especially someone in my own field. But from me here in the UK, it's been excellent talking to Tommy, but the time seems to go nowhere. It's 9 o'clock in the evening. I've been at work all day, and it's sad to see you guys go. I will try and give Tommy, not next week or the week after, at the end of the week after, maybe some stories and some information on the crop circles I'm going to see. And I shall take my Geiger counter and I'll do a little bit of field research, and I'll get back to you and let you know how that goes. Tommy is hopefully going to come back with a bit more information about where the Congress is going in the US on all these stories about UFO and all these released files. Tommy, from me here in the UK, I've been ET Girl, Tina Bird. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Normally just on Facebook, guys. Here every week with Tommy. So please come on the show. Again, ask us a question, send us some letters, send us some emails. Email Tommy. He put his email up in a minute on the stream, so you can get his email. Or if you look in the comment section there, Tommy will put his email in the comments. And then he can invite you onto the show. So for me here in Southampton, I've been Tina Bird. Tommy, you've been great, and sorry I've talked your ears off and questioned a few things, but that's what it's all about, guys. And from me, I will see you next week. Tommy.
All right, Tina, it's always a pleasure. Till next week. Have a good week. Hope everything goes good. Say hi to all the animals for me.
All right. Yes, I will. I'll hug them all. Bye. Bye-bye.
All right, that was Tina Bird, lovely woman. She's has been abducted much of her life, and she's still dealing with it. She's radioactive, which is impossible. So there's a lot of things going on. I'm glad to have her. Who knows how long she's going to live? And I keep saying it to her, she's lucky to be alive, being radioactive. And not that it's constant, which is another impossibility, but I support her to the max. I want to be with her until the end, no matter what, of our show, and until we both disappear from this planet. But the truth is, we're trying to get the truth out. Not just our truth, but the real truth about aliens and what they want and things. Not, I think this and I think that. Well, you know, when you watch an alien doing something, give you a rough idea what and who they are. When I saw my first alien, I was 12 years old. I was with my friend. We start walking down in my house. We both got, I got a stick and we got a bat, and we were going to go beat it up. That's what we believed. All right. And then we saw the shadow of it once we got down there, go right through the door. And then we ran back upstairs, and my mother's asking us all kinds of questions and everything. And then we see the ship take off from my yard. So I was 12 years old for that. I mean, I can go into the one that opened up my world to another world was I was 6 years old. I don't go into detail, but I was 6 years old. I was with my brother. He was having his tonsils out the second time. They screwed up the first time, and I was getting mine taken out. When we were little, they said it's healthy to have them taken out. So to bring a horrible name up, Bill Cosby, he had an album out, and he was talking about getting your tonsils out, and he sang a song, Ice Cream. We're going to get ice cream. So I'm in the hospital singing ice cream. We're going to get ice cream. Little do I know, they cut your throat, and then you start bleeding and spitting out blood and all kinds of things, and you're really not in the mood for ice cream. But in the interim, I was in it was a 3-bedroom room in the hospital. My brother was on one window side, on the opposite side of me, and there was another boy in the room. They were kind of cribs at the pull-up side, and he was on the other side, and I'm on the opposite side altogether, looking at both of them. It was about 12 o'clock, and I'm talking to the new boy that I didn't know, making friends with him, and my brother's in the crib on the other side. He stands up, he's going back to the crib, the back wall, screaming, Tommy. I look at him. I jump out of my crib. I'm 6 years old, go flying over the bar in the crib, run over to the window, and there's this giant light ship coming right up to the window. Don't know why. I take my hands and I put it on the window like that, and then the ship shot right back out into space. I was 6 years old. I didn't know what was going on. I don't even know what went on for a while after that, why I did it, what was happening, or any of that. But it was my first introduction to the UFO world. And then it started escalating rather fastly, and my spiritual quest started growing as well. But you know, without an experience that you have yourself, most of the UFO stuff is useless it really doesn't mean a thing, and it's really hard to accept or believe it. Seeing is believing. With technology today, seeing and isn't believing, because they can make you see anything they want you to see. But by the same token is, if you record something, or your best friend, your mother, your father, somebody records something, you believe it. You don't say, well, they're going to make it up and show it to me. When that video goes to somebody else, well, then, oh, that was made up or could be fake. And most people online, it's just terrible. I'm an instigator. I'm a rebel. I'm a hardcore fighter for the truth. I mean, a lot of people will call me a troll. I'm a troll in a way that I'm bringing truth there, not lies. Most trolls have no awareness of what they're talking about, no awareness of what the people are talking about, and they attack it or make stupid comments and ridiculous comments. Anything I say in any person that I go into their site and say something to them, I challenge them on their truth. I ask them for a public debate. Now, Michael Sala, who's in Hawaii, I kept saying, look, you're going to talk about government programs. Talk about being from Australia, the biggest army base on the planet. Talk about what's going on there. And he goes, I'm going to block you. He keeps saying it. I said, do what you got to do. And then he blocked me. But that's okay. I don't care. That just shows he's afraid to talk about the truth. Now, everybody from all the UFO people, all the so-called spiritual people, I got an open debate. Anytime, any place, anywhere, I will debate them live or off the air on truth, on their truth, what they call truth, what they believe in, what they're pointing off on people as a truth. People that say they talk to God. Really? And what did God say? Love is the answer. Really? All right. People, I did a show last night. No more bullshit. All right. The link's up on YouTube. If you go friend me on the site in YouTube, if you're watching me on YouTube right now, go down there and click on friend me and friend me. You'll get all my links for all my shows. All my shows are recorded. I don't like to go over past shows because I feel energy keeps changing. Hopefully it keeps growing. I mean, becoming more aware and all those kind of wording. So I don't like to go over. I mean, I got my books. I give them away free. My first 2 books. I got a UFO manual that I give away as well as a PDF file if you want it. If you want to see UFOs and know how to do it or what the best way and everything else. All right. It's called How to See a UFO Field Manual. So people, if you're really interested in the UFO world, you never saw a UFO, I don't know why you wouldn't write to me and get a free book. I'm not charging money. I just send me a link and I'll send it back to you. That's all. I'm not here to make money. I mean, money's great, but I can't sell spiritual things to make money. I'm not doing it. I mean, I'm making lots of money off of something. I mean, everybody should have the right to understand the truth and see the truth and be able to experience it. The truth about God, truth about death, truth about reincarnation, and all those words. Not aliens and what they want us to believe, not deities, what they program us to believe. I mean, all the stories about deities, I don't know if you've read much Hinduism and things like that with the deities and what they teach, and even Buddhism, the deities, what they teach. They all talk about protection. They all talk about consciousness. Talking about consciousness is useless. All right, universal consciousness is even more useless. You have your own awareness, people. Separate, meaning soul that you are has it. It's not a part of everybody else's. All right, you don't have to be a rapist, a murderer, a killer, things like that. No. You could stay without that. You don't need it part of. So when you say you're part of the group consciousness, you're in trouble. All right. You have a lot of things to go with. All right. Which religion, which path, what do you want to believe in, and all those kind of things. But the truth is there if you want it. Not the programs. The programs will always be there. But you have to search for the truth. And when you come to the UFO world and you want to know what aliens are doing, you're not going to get it from the public because they're not going to talk about it. Most of these people do not talk about abduction and what really happens. Travis Walton was one of the most famous stories, did a movie on it and everything. but he doesn't even know what truly happened. Remembers of some of the things going on, but why and why they were doing it, and any of those kind of questions. Tina gets to communicate. All right, she has a whole family on a ship, and they all can think like what she knows and communicate back to her. So she has a new thing that aliens are probably watching her for that reason. So there's a lot going on, people, and that's why I have Tina on, and that's why I do this show. It's time to like fight these people putting more lies out there. We don't need more lies. We don't need more stories. We don't need people to tell us that they're going to have, a fake alien invasion. No, that's not going to happen. We'll have a real alien invasion soon. It won't be fake. The government, why would they create a fake alien invasion? Give us fear? UN Agenda 21 is all we need. Hold on, people. Give me one split second. All right. We have to be real. We should be trying to be real to ourselves, real to the people around us, our family. Well, you talk about protection. When you have no protection against aliens, what are you going to do? You don't even know what they are, how they come, what they do, where they go. So you can't protect them. And if you think your angel guys or anything is protecting you, really? Not in the physical. Soul is protected, but not the body, people. Aliens are playing with everybody's bodies the best they can or as much as they can. And they have always been doing that. Well, with that, I'm going to end it. Hope you got something out of today. Please send this link to everybody you know. We will bring people on if they have the truth and they're out there mainstream with something important to say. Also, if you have questions, write it into the chat room. Send it to me at hawksblood1aol.com. All right, let me just stick that up. All right, or Skype me, Hawksblood11. I don't mind talking. I'd rather talk than type anyway. But I can answer almost any question you have about the UFO world, spiritual world, come to a car or boat or something like that. I have zero awareness. I never worked on a car in any great way or a ship or any of those kind of things. But I can talk about what I experienced directly myself. And so can Tina. So till next time, people, Tommy Hawksblood here. Big Island of Hawaii. Lots going on here. We got a couple different races here. All right. Till then, peace, love, compassion. Whatever you need in your life, hope you get it. Hope you keep looking further, because whatever you think you're looking for is not the answer. It's what you think is the answer, and it'll change if you really get closer to it. All right, people.